get your ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
The Devil Wears Prada predicted the rise and fall of hustle culture 10 years before it even started. It's a story so many young people go through, either doing like a postgraduate lifestyle, moving to a new city. Like, I have really noticed a lot of parallels between our protagonist, Andy Sachs, and myself in my own career and life journey. And I think the general sentiment around work culture, hustle culture, rise and grind culture has dramatically shifted from the mid 2010s to obviously now, like the mid 2020s. And growing into adulthood during this time has been very interesting. Today, we're going to revisit how work culture is represented in 2006's The Devil Wears Prada through the lens of our three main leading ladies, Andy Sachs, Emily, and Miranda Preistley. Also, hi, I'm Angie. I talk about movies, TV, nostalgia mostly. If it was made 20 years ago, we're probably talking about it on this channel, and I'm going to keep it that way. Stay, have some tea, get a blanket or something. Get comfy as we talk about one of my favorite comfort movies of all time. So, to set the scene, our understanding of Runway magazine and its work culture is established through the lens of Emily, Miranda Preistley's first assistant. Now first assistant. She was a second assistant. She just got promoted. Our understanding of the Runway magazine culture is established before Miranda Preistley even shows up on screen. Before Stanley Tucci's iconic "Gird Your Loins," which was improv, by the way. We see the entire company scrambling in anticipation for Miranda Preistley's arrival.
She's on her way. Tell everyone.
She's not supposed to be here until 9.
Her driver just text messaged and her facialist ruptured a disc.
Adjusting her desk, filling up waters, changing their shoes from flats to heels, applying makeup in compact mirrors, and even sprinting full speed through the Runway magazine hallways, doing anything to accommodate Miranda, who essentially represents like the Anna Wintour of this universe. Through Emily, Miranda's first assistant, and Nigel, Miranda's second in command, we get to know the culture of this company and how it operates. Emily is jittery and panicky. She embodies the ideal Runway employee, someone who's strict and upholds the office standards, from how phones are answered to how the precious book is delivered with care and attention to detail. She takes pride in the work that she does and understands its importance within the company, but takes her loyalty a step further. Emily represents hustle culture in that she idolizes her boss and will bend over backwards for a sliver of recognition, all for the sake of the company, the potential of getting respect one day, maybe, and for Miranda Preistley herself. And with Andy coming in as second assistant, she expects Andy to follow suit. Outside of running ridiculous errands and hanging Miranda's coat up every day, Emily's dedication goes above and beyond when she starts preparing for Paris Fashion Week, an event that she's looked forward to all year.
I get to go with her to Paris for Fashion Week in the fall. I get to wear couture, I go to all the shows and all the parties, I meet all of the designers, it's divine.
In preparation, she works herself to the bone physically to be at her physical best.
You look so thin.
Do I? Yeah. Oh, it's for Paris. Well, I'm on this new diet, it's very effective. Well, I don't eat anything. And when I feel like I'm about to faint, I eat a cube of cheese.
Which only pushes her to her limits, causing her to be outworked by Andy. Oh. So who is Andy? Andy Sachs is a hopeful millennial who moves to the Big Apple for the opportunity or the chance to be a journalist one day. From the very opening sequence, we see that Andy is not like other girls. She is unkempt. She's messy, unmanicured, horrifically dressed. It's like crazy to be saying these things about Anne Hathaway, but like this is Andy Sachs, okay? Like this is the character. She applies to Runway magazine, a job that a million other girls would kill for, and tells Miranda Preistley to her face that it was either this or Auto Universe. When Miranda dismisses Andy mid-interview, Andy has this big old spiel about how she works really hard, she's smart, she works fast, she's tenacious.
You know, okay. You're right. I don't fit in here. I am not skinny or glamorous, and I don't know that much about fashion, but I'm smart. I learn fast, and I will work very hard.
I've got the exclusive on the Cavalli for Gwyneth. But the problem is...
And that quality of hunger for the opportunity and the tenacity that she showed in talking back to Miranda is the reason why Miranda ended up hiring her. She didn't want her, but she was like, all right, you got some chops, kid. So Andy gets hired at Runway magazine, and it takes her a second to get like accustomed to the culture. But before you know it, she's getting daily makeovers in the beauty department at the magazine. I don't know how that worked out because I know she didn't learn how to do her makeup. I digress. She's getting daily makeovers in the beauty department at the magazine, and she's like getting rentals from the magazine.
Miranda Preistley's office? No, actually, she's not available, but I'll leave word. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Are you wearing the
Chanel boots? Yeah, I am.
She's wearing designer clothes. She's strutting in the office, and her physical appearance is a representation of the fact that she's actually doing well at her job. She's answering questions that she had no answer to before. She anticipates problems and solves them before it's necessary. She's able to achieve impossible tasks, like getting the newest unpublished Harry Potter book directly from J.K. Rowling.
One copy. What are my twins gonna do with that? Share?
No, I made 2 copies and had them covered, reset, and bound so that they wouldn't look like manuscripts. This is an extra copy to have in file, you know, just in case.
Well, where are these fabulous copies? I don't see them anywhere.
They're with the twins, you know, on the train on the way to Grandma's. Is there anything else I can do for you?
I don't know how she did that. Fetching a steak hot and ready for Miranda's arrival. Like, she's just willing and able to do whatever she needs to do to appease Miranda. And it's really showing in her work as well as her appearance. She's getting really good at her job. So good that she starts to surpass Emily. And we will circle back on that. In recent years, I've seen a lot of conversation online talking about how Andy's boyfriend, Nate, along with all of their friends, were haters. And there is an argument to be made that Nate didn't want to see her succeed. And when Andy started her job at Runway, he just became a hater. I don't know if people are joking or if that is like satire, but that's not true. He wasn't just like a random hater for the sake of hating. Like, he obviously wanted to see Andy succeed and reach her full potential. Like, he was a pretty good boyfriend. And I'll tell you why. Hello? Can you hear me? I don't even want to talk about it. I'm making a graph. As Andy's career develops, we have like a line chart developing, okay? So on our x-axis, we have time at Runway. And on the y-axis, we have stress level. As Andy progresses at Runway, she spends more time at Runway, okay? She gets really stressed out. There's a direct impact here. There's a direct positive correlation between her time at Runway and her stress levels. Also, on a separate line chart, we have same thing, time at Runway on our x-axis, as well as integrity. Integrity being the integral word of this chart. As Andy progresses through her time at Runway, her integrity goes down. Dramatically, okay? This is all her boyfriend was trying to say. He was saying, Andy, the more time you spend at this job, the more you lose your integrity and the more stressed you are. You're not normal. This is not normal levels of stress. You're doing crazy stuff to appease Miranda Preistley. Her integrity decreases. She starts valuing things that she never valued before and starts missing out on really important life events. I, of all people, I know what it's like to do what you can to get ahead in life. You want to set yourself up for success. Everyone does. That's the American dream. Woo! However, when you start missing important life events like your boyfriend's birthday that you've been planning for months.
Happy birthday. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Or being late to your best friend's art gallery, perhaps it's time to look inward. Perhaps it's time to reflect on your decisions that got you to a place where you can't even celebrate your best friends. What is the point of hard work if you can't even do the fun things, you know? Even her parents are trying to tell her that she's completely lost the plot. She's not writing, and instead of writing, she's fetching coffees. That's not what you went to New York to do. Everyone's concerned for her. It's not just Nate and her hating friends. Like, you can't just, I think that is intentionally missing the point. So let's rewind for a second. I said earlier that Andy starts to surpass Emily in their careers as first and second assistant. Surpasses her in terms of trustworthiness and general quality of work because Emily is starving herself in anticipation for Paris Fashion Week. Due to the fact that Emily is essentially making herself sick, Miranda thinks it's best if Andy takes Emily's place in the Paris Fashion Week trip. When she hears that, Andy is appalled. She goes, oh my God, no, I could not do that to Emily. I couldn't. Miranda responds with a threat saying that if Andy doesn't go on this trip, she will assume that Andy doesn't take her job seriously and therefore she'll be fired. So Andy would lose her job should she decline. She then accepts it. She says, okay, fine. Miranda says, okay, go tell Emily. She tells Emily. Emily's obviously pissed off. Andy goes, I didn't have a choice. I'm sorry, I didn't have a choice.
But you should have said no.
Emily, I didn't have a choice. You know how she is.
That is a pathetic excuse.
Then that day she goes and tells Nate the whole incident. She's like, oh my God, like now I have to go to Paris instead of Emily. Nate's like, wait, I thought Emily really wanted to go to Paris. Andy starts freaking out. She's like, she says it again. She goes, I didn't have a choice.
I didn't have a choice, okay? Miranda asked me and I couldn't say no.
I know, that's your answer for everything lately. I didn't have a choice.
Nate,
like this job was forced on you. Like you don't make these decisions yourself.
Nate, you're gonna reprimand me now too? Like I didn't have a choice. Yeah, you did. And so now I'm getting comfortable. I hope you're comfortable because I'm getting comfortable. So now they're having this big old conversation about just how Andy's been acting lately, which I think is valid. Andy's over her coworker who essentially ushered her through this entire experience. At the height of their argument, Nate says something that really stuck with me. He said,
I wouldn't care if you were out there pole dancing all night, as long as you did it with a little integrity.
So when people are like, oh, Nate was a hater, he didn't want her to succeed. No, you're wrong. He was her number one supporter. He just had no clue what was going on with his girlfriend. He said, do whatever you want, as long as you have some gusto behind you. I just think that the word integrity is really the key word of the entire movie. Andy has lost any integrity that she had mirroring Miranda's actions. She's following in Miranda's footsteps. So remember Nigel? We mentioned him earlier. He's played by Stanley Tucci. He is Miranda's second in command. He's like the creative art director behind Runway magazine. An opportunity for growth came up for Nigel, and here's what happened. We're back with the whiteboard. This is like more complicated, but there are some characters that you need to know about to understand the impact of this entire situation. So we have Miranda. Oh, wow. I don't know why I wrote it like that. We have Miranda. She is the head of Runway US. We have someone named Jacqueline. She's French, and she's the head of Runway Paris. We have Nigel, who works for Miranda at Runway US. And then we have someone named James Holt. James Holt is like an up-and-coming designer in the US who is building out his own agency and is looking for a COO of his company. Now, Miranda refers Nigel to James Holt to be the new COO of James Holt Designs. But it's found out that Jacqueline was up for the role of the head of Runway US. Okay, I don't know why. So she's up for Miranda's role. In finding out, Miranda pulls some strings to essentially get Jacqueline, now the colors mean nothing. I'm sorry, there's no ink in my markers now. Miranda pulls some strings when she hears that her role as the head of Runway US is in jeopardy and Jacqueline is up to take the role. So what does she do? Miranda, instead refers Jacqueline to be the COO of James Holt Designs. And the way that she does this is in the most distasteful way. It is at like a benefit dinner in front of Jacqueline and her team, James Holt's team, and her team, along with like a ton of other people. It's like a press conference at this point. She goes, I'm here. I'm happy to announce the new COO of James Holt Designs is my dear friend. And we see Nigel gearing up for Miranda to say his name. She goes, my dear friend, Jacqueline. I'm not French. And she does that so that obviously no one can take her spot as the head of Runway US, meaning Nigel is meant to just continue to stay under Miranda until some other opportunity happens. In this moment, he says to Andy, it's fine. She'll get me back. Like she owes me. She'll return the favor. Like she'll get me back. She has my back. Andy goes, are you sure? Nigel goes, no, I'm not sure that that's going to happen, but I have to hold faith. Are you kidding me? Also that she can remain at the top of her company. Now, if she accepted defeat and was just like, okay, I'm not going to be the head of Runway anymore. I'm going to do something else with my life. Then yeah, Nigel could go here. Jacqueline could go here. That wasn't going to happen because Miranda has to stay in power. It's a dictatorship. It's very scary. Obviously, what just went down was super up. Andy tries to reprimand Miranda for it and essentially says like, that was terrible. That was awful. I would never do something like that if I were in your position. To which Miranda goes,
You already did. To Emily.
That's not what No, that was different. I didn't have a choice.
Oh no, you chose. You chose to get ahead.
Finally, this conversation and this moment forces Andy to look within, reflect on her own actions, and realize that, oh, the hustle of it all is not worth losing yourself and your own values, which is why the moment when she walks out of that taxi and she's walking in the complete opposite direction as Miranda, I mean, that was a very literal and symbolic moment. She throws her phone in the fountain when Miranda calls her. She said, I'm done. And I think that was beautiful. Here are my closing thoughts. The Devil Wears Prada so clearly illustrates the consequences of hustle culture, a culture that rose in popularity in the mid-2010s with the hashtag girlboss movement, encouraging people, especially young women, to commit to the rise and grind of it all, selling the idea that you yourself could work hard and build an empire of your own, as long as you're able to pick yourself up by the bootstraps and do things other people couldn't. In Andy's case, she had to compromise her entire personality and value system to fit into a grind culture that did nothing but burn eager and enthusiastic people like Emily out or double-cross loyal people like Nigel. And I think people are tired of it all. And like Andy, I think that a lot of young people have realized that on the other end of the hustle tunnel, there is no silver lining unless you're able to step on good, honest people along the way. Am I insane? I don't know. Am I insane? Let me know in the comments if you agree with this. I personally feel a shift in the anti-hustle culture thing, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm open to being wrong. I don't think I am in this case, but it's okay if I am. I'd love to know your thoughts on corporate ladder climbing and just hustle culture in general. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Subscribe, please, and watch this video. If you liked this video, I think you're gonna like this video. So check it out. Not to toot my own horn, but I think you'll like it. So, okay. Love you. Bye.